So, do I need to pH in organics or living soil? Lots of people say you don't need to, but is that true? Or is it just a bunch of BS? In today's episode, we're going to break all that down on the iCan Grow Show. But first, real quick, everyone loves phygenetics and big buds, but what's the secret to big tasty buds? Phygenetics and solid nutrients. The iCan VIP Bean Club has always got mailboxes burning down. Join the iCan VIP Bean Club and get in before the next drop. Or if you don't want to wait, use the code icanthc and grab some of the new iCan seeds today. The new crosses are lit and they're selling out super fast. But it don't stop there, guys, because the iCan Organics nutrients will help you to get the best out of your grows. The full line of iCan Organics can be used as a standalone or incorporated into your existing nutrients. If you're using bottle nutrients or dry amendments, it doesn't matter. It's the easiest way to feed your plants. Claim your iCan Organics today at a discounted price with the code icanthc. Grab it and let's grow! So do I need to pH in living soil? According to some sources like this article by Nature's Living Soil, yes, it's a good idea to check and adjust the pH of your water, especially when growing in living soil. The ideal pH range for living soil is about 6 to 7, with 6.5 being optimal. Maintaining the proper pH allows your plants to absorb nutrients efficiently, promoting healthy growth and development. Here's what Tad Hussey from Kiss Organics had to say about this.
There's a lot of misconceptions, particularly pH. Does it matter in living soil or not? What's your take on that?
Yeah, it was kind of, it was honestly kind of shocking to me that this was such a controversial topic. And I'll be honest, I started off on that sort of organic soil route thinking it wasn't that important because I never had to deal with it. I have really good water here in the Seattle area that doesn't have a lot of mineral content and is fairly neutral. And then my soils that I used were always within a good pH range. But pH absolutely matters. Take 10 seconds, hop on Google, and just Google pH availability chart for plants. And it's very obvious when you look at that there are certain ranges when nutrients are going to be more available for your plant, and heavy metals are going to be less available. And so if we can stay within that optimal pH range, and for me, if we're growing medicinal plants in living soil, I like to run a little more alkaline. So I usually target around 6.8. I'll go as low as 6.5. Now, if you're in hydro and other things, people are down in the 5s or low 6s. And for me, I like to run a little bit more alkaline because that reduces heavy metal uptake. It doesn't necessarily limit a lot of the nutrient availability, and we still get good yields and good results. But yes, pH absolutely matters. Anyone who's taken a plant botany course and understands how plants uptake nutrients will agree with it. It's one of those things that like soil scientists just don't argue about. It's like the earth is round. Yet when we get into the living soil community, that's where things get a little bit less sure on some of these just basic plant physiology questions.
Now this makes sense because plants uptake nutrients within a certain range on the pH scale. There's actually a really useful chart that shows plant nutrient availability according to soil pH. I'm going to throw that up on screen now. But as you can see, most nutrients are available within a certain range, some more than others based on the pH level. Many people consider that sweet spot between 6.5 and 7, but a little outside of that range is not harmful. Now over the years, I've seen many growers say that if you're doing organic soils, organic living soils, you don't need to pH anything. According to this grower on Grow Diaries, if you're doing an organic water only grow, you should not have to pH anything. As long as it's between 4 and 8, a pretty wide range, you should be fine. Now this grower said they make a habit of checking anyway so they can adjust if necessary. They also said that they have a chlorine and chloramine filter on their tap which brings their pH up to around 8, and in that case they adjust it and bring it down to about 6 or 7. Now this is a pretty interesting take, but it still suggests that there's a need to at least monitor your pH or have an idea of what the pH is when it's coming out of your tap and you're watering your girls. It also raises a great point about chlorine and chloramine. Chlorine and chloramine are both used to treat water, but they have different properties and different uses. Chlorine is a disinfectant that kills germs in water. It was first introduced to water systems in the US at about 1908, a really long time ago. Chlorine is easier to remove from water than chloramine, and it can be filtered out by active carbon filters. Chloramine, on the other hand, is a disinfectant formed by mixing chlorine with ammonia. Chloramine is a weaker disinfectant than chlorine, but it's more stable and last longer. Chloramine was first introduced to water systems in the US in about 1929. Now important also is chloride. This is also found in water and is an essential nutrient for plants, but it's only needed in small quantities. Chloride helps the plants to absorb other nutrients from the soil, and it's also important for photosynthesis. Chloride is one of the 17 essential nutrients all plants need in order to grow. It doesn't matter what plant it is, but that is super necessary for productive yields and reproduction in plants. Now I've got a whole video breaking down all types of water, from RO water to tap water to bottled water, so definitely check that out. Now here's something where I want to point out something really interesting and very important. There is a difference between adjusting the pH in living soil via your water and adjusting the pH in living soil via soil additives. Now, adjusting the pH in your soil via soil additives can be a little bit more complex because different soil amendments can influence your pH in different ways. Now Jeremy from Builder Soil breaks this down in a really easy to understand way, so check this out.
Does pH matter in my indoor living soil grow? Well, that's a convoluted question, but the short answer is no. And what I mean by that is there's a difference in what pH means when it comes to soil, and I'll explain it as quickly as I can. When you are in hydro, all of your nutrients depend on a certain pH because the nutrients are available in the water. And so pHing your water makes sense because that's the final nutrient solution, and it is where all the nutrients are picked up. In soil, the pH is an accumulation of the calcium, the magnesium, the potassium, the sodium, and all of the other nutrients that are in the soil. Once those add up, it creates a particular pH. Now, if you have a high pH because it's sodium, pHing is not going to do anything. If you have a low pH because there's not enough calcium, pHing the water is not going to do anything. It's more important to address the soil problem that will correct the pH than it is to try and pH your water. That's why we say throw away the pH meter. Doesn't mean it doesn't have value, but it's different in living soil.
So for example, cocoa core takes your pH up. Ground pumpkin seeds also takes your pH up. Oyster shells, egg shells, those things take your pH up. Crab meal or shellfish meal also generally takes your pH up. But on the other hand, different types of rock phosphate may take your pH down. Cottonseed meal can take your pH down. Humic ore takes your pH down. Blood meal, bat guano, bird guanos, those things take your pH down. So it's really important to pay attention to what type of organic amendments you're using and how they may all come together to impact your soil's pH. Now there is a school of thought that if you're using organic systems, you should not use these liquid chemical pH up and downs because these may negatively affect the microbial life in your medium. They are great alternatives. You can use dolomite lime water to take your pH up if it's below 7, or using citrus juices like lemon, lime, orange, apple cider vinegar. These can also take your pH down if it's needed. Now when your pH is running low, you may see your leaves tackle upwards. They literally sort of look like a tackle or a canoe. The edges curl upward, and that's usually a sign for you to make small adjustments now before things get too out of hand. Now you can always measure your pH using a liquid pH meter or a soil pH meter. The soil pH meters are devices that are used to measure the acidity or alkalinity of your soil, and usually have a probe of around 12 inches long that you stick into your soil. Some of these cheaper pH meters can go off really quickly, so you got to make sure to calibrate it or just get a proper one. Those ones last a little bit longer. So all that said, this is a really tricky topic, and a lot of people have different views as to whether pH is important in living soil setups or not. But I want to find out what you guys think. What do you guys do? What do you guys think about it all? And most importantly, what do you do in your garden? Do you monitor your pH in living soil or organic systems, or do you not bother? Drop it in the comments and let me know. And don't forget to join up with the iCan VIP Bean Club, because we got fire genetics going out to VIPs. The next drop is going to be absolutely lit, so make sure you get in before that. And wait, if you want to find out more about growing that fire, then definitely check out any episode on screen right now, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, fam.